about it, man. Like I say, it was a conference in addition to a vacation at the same time. So when you get to work and play, that's always cool.
That's that's how it should be, man. I like it. Should be streaming now. Let's see if it's streaming. Yep, it's streaming. I got 30 more minutes on this train, so this is Metrolink 382 Express. Let's hit them with the wins, y'all.
Yeah, I can drop my win. So actually, I'm just getting back in town myself. I was down in Austin for Afrotech this past week.
How was
How
that
was
our
Afro
event for
Tug?
you?
I think I'll give y'all my take on it. So, from my experience, it is a excellent networking opportunity if you're in the tech space or if you're someone that's in college and you're looking for ship or looking for that role to try to get into tech. But I can say, aside from that, it definitely does kind of like got like a turn up party vibe, and but it kind of lacked in terms of like actual technical like workshops. So if you wanted to have some real hands-on experience as far as working with certain technologies, there was a shortage of that. They had one event that I believe that was hosted by IBM that was called Afro Hack, but I didn't hear about that until today that was going on. So it seemed like they didn't promote that as much. But I'd say I met tons of people. I was able to connect with a few people. I already got some follow-up calls scheduled with them over the next week or so. But I'm seeing all the flack on social media and whatnot about the conference, and I believe it's all about how you make it at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And
I think. Go ahead, man.
oh yeah, I want to say yeah, it's all about what you make from it at the end of the day. And then they had at Houston, I mean not Houston, they had an Austin for the past 2 years. Mind you, this was their first 2 years having it post pandemic, because prior to that was out in the Bay Area. So with that being said, they actually moving it out to Houston come next year.
I think what's crazy about that is this is. I was reading this book. I'm still reading the book. $100 million leads, not offers, leads this time. Book of the week. You guys should check it out. I'm like 3 hours into it. I got like 3 hours left. And it was talking. He had a quote. Let me just find it. I'm gonna share it with you guys. It's gonna be hard to find because books. I can just search my highlights. Like, give me that option. Bookmarks, highlights, highlights. It's fairly recent that I saw it. He said, this is it. He's like, if getting good, letting that announcement go by. But he said, if getting weird messages and hate from people, if getting weird messages and hate from people I don't know is the price I have to pay to make an impact, the impact that I want to have, I pay that price any day of the week. And so which is interesting. Um, it's like he says, up to this point, I stayed behind the scenes for the most part. I did not want to be famous. I wanted to be rich, and I succeeded at that. But seeing these successes chipped away at my beliefs. The building a personal brand be that powerful? Simple answer, yes. But I wanted my privacy. We sat around the kitchen table, and I asked him, you get all these weird messages from strangers, people threatening your family. Are you still happy when you became famous? He replied, that's something that changed my life forever. And then he said of getting weird messages. So I think what's interesting is the same criticism we're seeing of Afrotech is the same criticism we saw of investments. And I think what's interesting is before these things even existed, people said, I wish we had something like that. And so I share that because it's kind of a part of the process, man, of building something is getting the hate. And the thing is, a lot of us have never either built anything or witnessed anybody build something significant. And so when we see the hate, we think that that's a bad thing or it's uncommon. And so they were like, man, they're getting hated on. And I mentioned this on Sweet Talk this week. I was like, it comes with the process. It comes with the territory, basically. You build something, you do what EYL did. They had like 10,000, 20,000 people in the building, and you had people make YouTube videos criticizing it. That's just going to come when you build something that massive, because you also got to realize there's other people who had a great time. But what we realize is if you look at the reviews of a lot of things, usually the only people that make reviews are the people that are unhappy. The happy people didn't say anything at all. It's just the unhappy that are saying things. And so the reason why I want us to understand that we're all creative, we're all building, we're all doing something. And as you start reaching that mountaintop and reaching those pinnacles, it's going to come. And don't see that as a bad thing, see it as a sign that you've arrived.
No, so that's big facts.
I would say my win this week is we were waiting on the check from this house that we sold, and the check came in, and so that's cool. We're gonna give a significant amount to the partners, and another piece goes to me just because I funded a majority of the project. And I'm gonna put that into the next deal, or put that into the current deal that I'm finishing up, and then as soon as I get the money out of that deal, I'm going to get another deal. And I actually got that thought from a mastermind call we had about 2 weeks ago with Money Mavens. And I was like, man, you got to make sure that you take the profits from one deal, roll it into the next deal, and just keep snowballing it. So anybody else got any wins? I know I got wins. Give us a win. They're going to get Andre on the stage at about 6:15. We got Michelle in the building. I really wanted Michelle. She was in and then she went out, but she'll be back. I really wanted Michelle just to run this whole portion of the call. Andre, usually what we do right now is we just go over our wins and our gems. And so we share a success that we had this week, and then we also share a bit of wisdom from that success and from what we experienced.
Okay, that's dope.
We got Don Bucks in the building. We got Roy Red in the building. He got his own studio.
I got to win. My win came with information. Daniel gave me probably like a crazy key that's going to speed up everything I'm doing in the M&A space, because my conversion rates are trash. I'm emailing thousands of people every week, and but I'm using seller's finance. So when I go to shoot the seller's finance, they usually want some money up front. So the one deal we did get, he was willing to do it because he understood the value, and he was in a tough spot. But if Daniel showed me a play with funding on how you could get lots and lots of funding, so that way I can use that and I could still pitch the seller's finance, and then just for if they want something up front, I don't have to give them the whole amount, just like something to get them to do the deal, and then they can seller's finance the rest. But it's going to speed up everything exponentially, what he told me with funding.
You got them on the podcast interview.
He gave it on the pod. He didn't go deep, but he gave it. Like, if y'all listen to it, y'all would know the play. If someone who's kind of new is listening to it, they're gonna be like, oh, okay, they're using funding, but when he drops the gem, like you could start a hedge fund, liquid, or a private equity fund, or a search fund, or a debt fund, or pretty much any fund you want, and you dictate the terms in the contract. And these people with a lot of money, like the Black Rocks of the world, are looking for funds. They're looking for operators. So
We gotta have Roy on the show one day, or Roy on the Roy teaching. I think he taught a while back before we were doing the morning calls. I remember that. Cool, Miss Margie, you got to win. Don Bucks, it's been a while, man. I need a win.
Yes, sir. Um, Actually, today I got confirmation that my LLC got finalized. I was in the process of solidifying my car rental business, so now that came through. Got my EIN and all that good stuff. So now next move is to get a business account. So moving along.
Like it, brother. How many cars is it now? It's two, or you have more than that?
It's still two. I'm looking. I'm looking now. Actually, I went and seen one yesterday. It was a no go, but yeah, the goal is six. So two down, four to go.
You got any trading wins for us?
Trading win. Actually, I do. Yesterday, I traded the spy. I day traded it, scalped it right quick. 30. On a momentum divergence, of course, that's my play. Um, I don't want to go into that because I might confuse somebody, but yeah, I had it was light, it's a couple $100, but I wasn't trading for a while, so that was my first trade in a while. So right back in with a win.
I like it. Dan said he had a win. He hit us with a YouTube link.
So I got two wins. One of the YouTube link is we've done a lot of subdivisions, but we've never done one under 10 acres, which means we have to go through the county approval. So we're getting county approval on our first little subdivision. It should make like 300K, and it took us like 5 months to do. So that's our little small subdivision making. And then a second win is we should have our fund up and running December 1st. So we're like 3 weeks out from having our fund up and running. So excited about that.
Dan, do you know Andre Haynes? Have you guys ever met each other?
We have met each other. I met him
Yeah, we met once. Yeah, we met at Bigger Pockets.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Dre, Dan is somebody you need to know, man. He's a business genius.
For sure.
You guys a wizard, man. He's so smart.
Yeah, I'm sure if you and Henry around him, I know he's somebody special.
Cool. So we will get into it. I wanted to have Andre on it because I've been seeing his brand just grow. Not in terms of this, I mean, not only in terms of his personal brand, his personal accomplishments, but I've also seen his network just grow like crazy. So I know he has a lot to talk about in terms of the personal brand, his clothing line, and then also networking and the power of networking and how he's making really big connections. And then also he has a stock market experience. And so we got to talk about the options in the stock market as well. And I know you guys are going to get consider value to this, so just happy to have you here, brother. Go ahead and take it away.
My
I
guy.
don't know. What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? I don't really know where to start, man. I don't really come from any financial literacy at all. From the South Side of Chicago, the projects. During the late '80s and early '90s, my family was affected heavily by the drug epidemic that swept through a lot of inner cities around the country. And my mom and dad were hit heavily by that. And because of that, I was adopted. And blessed enough, I was adopted into my own family. But that situation caused a lot of childhood trauma when I was taken out of the house with my mom. And, it took me a long time to kind of like, redevelop confidence, figure out who I was, who I wanted to be, and just become the person that, I am today. Even some things now I'm still healing from because, like I say, I dealt with a lot of stuff for a long time. But since then, since all of that, as Charles said, I've gone on to build, amazing relationships and amazing network. I've built a seven-figure real estate portfolio. I have a brand, as y'all see here. Mindset matters because that's essentially the thing that's gotten me here, my strong mindset. I'm an author, as he said, I'm an investor in the stock market, real estate, business, entrepreneurship as well. I'm also a mentor to inner city kids. I'm a public speaker now. As recently, I've spoken at InvestFest, the Waymakers Men's Conference here in Chicago, hosted by BET and Walmart, and just a host of other things. And as of recently, I've become a mentee of Jamal King, who's Eric Thomas's right hand man, and that's one of my ultimate goals, to become a speaker and to speak on a high level and to do keynotes. And so from all of that, this is what I've become because of my mindset, y'all. And it wasn't always like that though. Like I said, I struggled in my early years, teenage years, a lot of time trying to figure out who I was, understanding and not really realizing that, my circumstances didn't allow me to do a lot of things that my talent would have suggested that I should be doing, as far as like being athletic. In addition to that, being able to go on trips overseas for essentially nothing because I was talented and intelligent. I had very, very high scores, high grades. And my parents and just family just didn't have the money to even put me in AAU, summer camps, the different things that would excel a child's progression. So I felt held back a lot of times. And what really helped me a lot was being exposed. And exposure is something that, I speak about a lot when I do speak. And God gave me a high level of exposure very young, because being taken out of my mom's home and moving with my aunt, I moved to a suburb called Maywood. And in Maywood, I went to a high school called Proviso East. And anybody who's familiar with the NBA, just from the 80s, 70s up until now, Proviso East is a basketball factory and it generates NBA players constantly, year over year. And I went to school with two guys named D Brown and the other named Shannon Brown. One played for the University of Illinois, the other one went to Michigan State and went on to win championships with Kobe. He played with LeBron James, et cetera. And not just win championships, but he was a major part of the team. And me seeing all of this, me being a part of all of this, again, these weren't just like my guys that I went to school with. These was my homies. I'm spending nights at their crib. We playing video games together, all of these different things. I'm making songs for them for their highlight tapes, like, 'cause I used to rap too. And like this level of exposure, seeing Coach K come to my high school, seeing Tom Izzo come to my high school, seeing Bill Self come to my high school, seeing my guy, shaking hands with Kobe, being in the wedding with Monica and Kobe standing next to me as the like groomsman, like, you know what I mean? Like this level of exposure, it made me realize that all things were possible. So, being exposed to this stuff, I chased rap for a little while. It didn't work out for me. I tried to do everything under the sun, y'all, modeling, motherfucking hustling, just like, selling any and everything. But again, like I tell people all of the times, the things you fail at, they're just preparing you for the things you're going to excel at, because all of those different things and all of those steps that I've taken, they've got me to this point. And I didn't realize that, y'all. I thought when I didn't make it in the music industry that I failed, that I wasn't any good. My homie went on to sell 200 million records, co-signed on the beat. This dude then made records for Rihanna, Big Sean, Justin Bieber, you name them. And I'm just like, God, like, when is it gonna be my turn? My homies over here that went to the NBA. My homie over here, he going double and triple platinum all over the world. Like, and it wasn't no hate or envy. It's just more like, when is it gonna be my turn? But again, this is just God exposing me. He's showing me all of these different things and showing me like, man, you can do this too, but it's just not going to be on your time. It's going to be on my time, but I want you to see it. I want you to be exposed to it so that you can have a mindset that it's attainable. And over the years, y'all, after realizing that I wasn't going to make no money in music, I had to really sit down, go get me a job, really reevaluate myself, check myself, and really humble myself, because in the music industry, y'all know how it is. We flossing and flogging all on the acting like we really got it the whole time. We don't really got it. And I was one of them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like my homies in the NBA, I'm like stunned using their name, like, you know what I'm saying? Like my man's in them, like all that, like, right. And, you know, just I had to really humble myself when, you know, I realized like, man, you 6 months behind on your rent. Boy, you damn near finna go to jail because you ain't paying your child support on time and you late on, like, you know what I'm saying? You just really not the guy who you out here really portraying to be. And God really humbled me. And I had to really like go and refigure out myself. And I had to sit down and get me a job, a 9 to 5 job. I worked at a telemarketing company, guys. And it was really, really, really humbling because the, you know, the personalities and just the energy in this place was just like, what do they call, like real low vibrational? Like we're gonna call it that. We're gonna call it real low vibrational. You know what I'm saying? And it just, I had went from up here having all of these dope experiences and doing all of these amazing things, performing with, you know what I'm saying, Fat Joe and opening up for Young Jock and sitting next to Jay-Z and Beyonce at the Final Four because my homies was in the championship game. Like all of these amazing things I was experiencing, to now sitting in the cubicle every day of my life working for $400 a week. Like, yo, this ain't this, y'all, like what is, like I feel like I was in the twilight zone. And this was, like I say, like this is God's way of like, you know, sitting me down and letting me know, like, my boy, you ain't really like doing what I got you out here to do. Like, you know what I mean? And again, y'all, the things that you go through, they just gonna prepare you, you know, to become a better and greater person. And you don't realize it while you in it, you know what I mean? But when you come out of it, it's easy to look back like, oh, that's why this happened, and this happened, and you start connecting the dots like, oh God, you a cold-blooded dude. Like I see how you did that. And this and at this point, I'm just like, all right, what lesson am I supposed to learn from this? Because I don't want to go into this depression. I don't want to pick up this energy that I'm surrounded by every day. So I start looking up, how do regular everyday people get rich? Because growing up, you only see in our neighborhood, you know, people playing ball, rapping, and selling dope. So I thought that's what it was. And for me, I'm like, all right, it got to be something. It got to be another way. So I'm like, I got the smartphone. Let me Google how people get rich. Real estate and the stock market. Real estate and the stock market. These articles kept coming up. Books kept coming up. All these different things. Rich Dad, Poor Dad popped up. And for whatever reason, I read the little bio about what it was and it stood out, and it was probably the cheapest thing at the time. I think it was $4.99 on Amazon used. And I'm like, man, let me just buy this. I'm on my last leg. I don't know what else to do. They say read and have something from a nigga, put it in the book. Fuck it. Let me just go ahead and switch it up a little bit. Let me read. So I get the book. It came the next day because of Prime. And when I opened this book up, y'all, it literally like changed my life immediately. The first chapter, second chapter, third chapter, fourth chapter, fifth chapter. I'm at my lunch break. I'm halfway through the book. My manager's steady on my heels because I ain't even taking calls or doing my job because I'm so locked into the book. Because this book is now feeding me information that I've never, ever, ever, ever had in my life. And it immediately changed my mindset. It's like being in the desert thirsty and somebody just immediately bring you some water. It's just like, oh my God, like I'm just taking it in constantly. And it just felt so good to me. And by the end of the day, y'all, like I had finished the book. Like they had sent me home and everything. Like got me out of like, yo, like you ain't really working today. I don't know what's wrong with you. We're gonna get you up out of here for the day. Come back, try again tomorrow. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I get it. I was being completely negligent because the book had my attention like that. And like by the end of that day, man, I had finished that book and I had came to work the next day with a mindset shift, y'all. And I was like, I was looking at my job as it was like it was my job fault that I'm working there. like I'm mad at the job. I'm mad at the people in the job. Like it's like, nah, dude, like this is your way out, because at the end of the day, you just read this book, you taking in all this information that you Googling and looking up about real estate and the stock market. How you gonna qualify for a property? Where you gonna get money from to invest? Like, no, this is your way out. So I started going to work with a whole different mindset. Like, oh, baby, I'm finna do this overtime. I'm finna hit these bonuses. I'm finna start taking every call to make sure I get these sales, because I was working at a commission-based job. And I also got, in addition to my base pay, I got commission, like an extra pay on sales. So it's like, all right, I'm really finna go crazy. Became the #1 seller in the company, all of these things, right? And after about a year of sacrificing, sitting down, saving my money, and just executing the things that I was reading in these books, it was like, yo, this shit really works. This stuff really, really works. I had saved about $10,000, $12,000. And And I called a mentor of mine. Her name is Kiyoki. And I'm like, Key, I think I'm ready to buy me a house. And she was like, no, don't do that. We ain't gonna do that. She's like, go get you a multi-unit. And I'm like, okay, a multi-unit. And she was like, because it's gonna allow you to live for free. And the people living there is gonna pay your mortgage for you. And if you do it the right way, you'll even have money left over to put in your pocket. And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah. And she's like, I got the play for you. It's this program called NACA, Neighborhood Assistance Corporations of America. And I ain't gonna get overly deep into that. If you want to know about all of that, you can go watch my interview with Charles on the podcast. And yeah, I give all the information away on that. But yeah, program called NACA. I bought my first 4-unit with no money down, no closing costs, no agent or attorney fees. I was offered the lowest interest rate in the country, regardless of what my credit score was. And I was able to buy it down lower using somebody else's money, y'all. So at the day that I closed, I got a seller's concession for $15,000. $10,000 was used to buy my interest rate down. 5,000 went back into my pocket. I moved into the property. I started collecting rents that same day. I kept all of my money, which was about $15,000. I got paid from my job as well. So I went from making $26,000 a year after taxes. And in Chicago, y'all, that's like right at the poverty line. Like I was like poor as hell. Like, you know what I'm saying? To now having $26,000 cash in my account and ownership of a property that had about $35,000 equity, and it was paying me every month and allowed me to live for free. So now this cash I'm having in my pocket is sitting there, and I also got rent checks coming in, and I got my job checks coming in. All of this is my money now. So immediately I had been reading Money Master the Game by Tony Robinson, telling me to, man, go put money in Vanguard, do this, and all of these things. This back in like 2010. So I immediately took about 18,000 of those dollars and put it right into the stock market. Bam, we're gonna put this over there. When it took me a vacation to Cancun and I bought me a Jag, like I'm up. So I'm finna really go crazy. Like I ain't go stupid crazy, but I went and got me something nice and I took me a vacation. And the cool thing about me going through the NACA program, I had a dope mortgage counselor. And this was like, man, Dre, I see you always bring your girl with you. Y'all gonna be together or whatever. Y'all really gonna like make it work. I'm like, yeah, you see, she with me. She hit my social security number, how much money I got in my accounts, everything. Like, yeah, she the one. He's like, all right, look, this the play. Bring her back and y'all get another one before y'all get married. Because as long as y'all not married, y'all can go through the program more than one time. If y'all married, everything is considered one. So that's the divide and conquer method that you hear people like MG the mortgage guy, people like that talk about. So we did that. So we took her back and we got her another property through the program. I just gave her the money to get the property, and we got an amazing property in $1 million neighborhood. I'm currently in the process of selling the property. We bought it for $860,000. I got it under contract right now for $1.25 million. Y'all can do the math on the, you know what I mean, the profit on that, but it's a pretty penny. And yeah, man. And I'm gonna take the money from that property essentially and scale. I'm thinking like instead of me doing the, you know, the residential properties that I've been doing, the 3 and 4 units, I'm gonna start either doing, you know, 20-unit type stuff or get into developing, because I don't want to keep on playing small ball, man. Like I've been around so many amazing people and been around like so many dope like developers and entrepreneurs. It's like it's time to really go big and scale big. And I'm now I'm about to have to own my own capital to be my own bank. So I can use that money to go and start everything on my own, or I can leverage that money and go get a larger lump sum of money and use OPM, other people money, y'all. And this is all from me, like I say, starting in the projects and moving up and doing the things that I've done. And me telling my story, just like I told y'all, and creating content around all of this, it's allowed me to create this brand where I've been getting interviews since 2019. All the way up to Earn Your Leisure, Bigger Pockets, Millionaire Mindset, some of the biggest and best podcasts that, you know what I mean, we have available to us today. In addition to that, I just recently spoke, like I said, at InvestFest in Atlanta. Like I said, I'm around the biggest and the best in the space consistently and constantly. If you follow me on Instagram or just any of my content, I'm always networking and finding my way in rooms like, damn, is that Drake? Like, yeah, that's me. I didn't I figured out this networking thing. Like I got it down packed and mastered. And you know, like it's I give the credit to God more than anything. You know what I mean? He just give me favor with people and just in life in general. You know, just relationships are very, very important, y'all. Like I can't speak about relationships enough. my relationship with my ball playing friends introduced me to Kyoki. Kyoki introduced me to Naka. You know what I'm saying? Like Naka, me telling my story about Naka has gotten me introduced to Charles, Troy, and Rashad. Like I say, just like you name them, like it ain't nobody who out here who I haven't met, who ain't got pictures with Brother Ben Next, Rizza Islam. Like I say, you name them, and I done been around them, kicked it with them, spoke on the stages with them, and all of that. And it's kind of cool because the first time that I ever spoke was an event myself, Charles Henry, Lamont, and George Pitts did together. And from there, man, like it's like as Charles said, he's watched my brand grow. He's seen me create content like from the beginning when I first started trading options, and I was just like just acting a fool on the internet, telling people how much money I'm making. I done simmer down on that because I see like that brings a lot of unwanted attention. You know what I'm saying? I had to really chill on that, but I was so excited at the time to have had learned something new. And I just wanted to share that information with people and let them know you can be cool and dope and do all of this too without having to be square or, you know what I mean, whatever you may consider lame. Like we can do this too, coming from our communities and being who we are. And you know, those pieces of content and those bits of information, you know, helped a lot of people, and it also helped me grow my brand and get out here and like, you know, build relationships with people who just like me, like come from communities like how I come from, and you know, just like really give people the confidence to step into this investing world. And you know what I mean? I owe Charles, you know, a ton of just like thank yous and loyalty, which I've always been to Charles. A lot of people, you know what I mean, that went left on Charles and broke bad on bro, but I always tell them I'm a solid dude. I'm always gonna be a solid dude, and that's why our relationship always been solid. Whenever he called me and needs something, I pull up. Whenever I got questions for him, like any of that, like that's like my brother, y'all. And that's why when he called me to be on with y'all today, it was just like, oh man, there's nothing. Let's get it. So yeah, man, that's my story. Like that's where I am. I'm pretty much like just really getting started too. I got so much more room to grow and a whole lot more to do, man. And if y'all got any questions, we can get into the Q&A part too. Like enough about, you know what I mean, like me talking about myself. I want to kind of know like what y'all want to know and like what's on y'all mind.
When it comes to NACA, I would assume that every state will have its own kind of separate entity like that as well. Like it might not be NACA for like let's say Alabama or New York or something like that, but there's got to be something closely related in your opinion. Is that correct?
No, it's NACA everywhere. NACA is a nationwide program. You can use it wherever.
Oh, thank you. All right, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. What you over there eating, my boy? Bucks, what you over there smacking on?
Bro, I just came from skating. I'm hungry and I'm up. Got chicken salad, salad.
It look like you over there banging it too, like that thing hidden.
I'm getting fed. I'm getting fed all around the board. Keep cooking, fam. Keep cooking.
My man. Go ahead, the grind show.
Yo, what's up, Dre? This is AJ. I host a podcast, The Grind Show, a realtor. I kind of had a question for you. I seen you all. You be killing it, bro. I be seeing you doing your thing. You
Appreciate it.
grandfather and your work. And I had a question about InvestFest. I went to the first one when I think it was 2021. I think. And then I seen that I didn't make it to the last two, but I had seen you know, like how'd you get on the stage, man? How'd you become and like what was the experience for you?
Like when people ask me that, because you're not the first person to ask me how I got on the stage, bro. I can't even tell you. I think it's just me being consistent, me being authentically myself, not trying to like mimic nobody else. Me like telling my story in a unique slash creative way. Like it's almost like entertaining, but also education and you know what I'm saying, comedy at the same time. Like it's like a mashup of all of these different things that you don't get with everybody. It's just like a level of realness. And like when I get around people, people feel my energy. I got real genuine energy, you know what I mean? I'm passionate, you know what I mean? I got a real genuine like love for helping people. And I'm not scared to introduce myself and to network with people the right way. I'm not scared to give props. I'm not scared to, you know what I mean, walk up to somebody I don't know and be like, hey, how you doing? My name is Andre. Hey, this is my story. This is what I do. And I think that type of confidence and you know what I mean, that type of just originality and just authenticity goes a long way a lot of times. When we be trying to figure out like, man, what do I need to do or how do I need to? It's just like, nah, bro, just be yourself. You know what I mean? It's like, and that's really what's going to do it for you more than anything. But like, I just really give a lot of credit to God, bro. I've always had this mindset. I've always been the person that, like I say, have had these amazing relationships. And I just feel like that's like favor. You know what I mean? And it's something that I could never explain when people ask me that it's hard. But like I say, I try my best to. And I don't even know if I really just answered your question, but that's the best explanation that I got for you because I really don't have a real explanation on that, bro. It's just like I always end up in rooms and around the right people, man. It's a blessing.
You did, man. I appreciate that. That man.
How did that Dwayne Wade joint come up? That link up.
Dwayne Wade.
So
Oh,
that was the Waymakers Men's Conference here in Chicago. So I know this little guy named Ian Brock. So he's a kid genius. You know, he's into tech and coding and all of those different things. He's interviewed Oprah and you know, I mean, been around Robert F. Smith and all of these things young. And I met him at this event, and his parents saw my interview on EYL, and they was like, "Man, we love you. Like, man, we just love what you're doing. We love what you're speaking about and putting people onto this program. We want Ian to go through it. We want our daughter to go through it." And you know, they like, we want to introduce you to some people and we want to like, you know, kind of like start working with you because Ian talks to a lot of high school kids and college people or whatever the case may be. And we kind of like want to link y'all up and kind of like run a program together with y'all. And they were like, the first thing that we want you to do is come and speak at the Waymakers Men's Conference hosted by, you know, BT, Walmart, and Procter and Gamble. And is also ran by a black man named Lewis Carr, who's from Chicago, who used to work for BT. And I'm like, for sure, I'm gonna definitely come speak at that. Like, what y'all mean? Like, just give me the details. So I pulled up to that, and you know, of course, I killed it. I'm myself. I do me, and you know, everybody liked me, man. And you know, Dwayne Wade afterwards, you know, we shook hands, you know, we met in the green room because everybody was kind of like backstage. And I'm like, man, I'm from Chicago. You like, you know, I'm from the South Side or whatever. And, you know, I was telling him about what I do when, you know, what my purpose and my mission is. He's like, oh, man, that's amazing. I love it. You know, if any way I can help, let's do it. And I'm like, oh, man, for sure. Let's flick it up and get this video real quick. Just, you know what I mean, off the top, just to like, you know, represent Chicago and let them know how Chicago linking up. So he was like, all right, let's do it. And, you know, just those kind of relationships come from being in the room. You know what I'm saying? Like when you hear people like, man, you got to get in the room, like there's real power in getting in the room. And just like I say, not being scared to tell your story and talk to people because ain't nobody out here perfect, man. We all done, you know what I mean, been through certain things. We all done had like certain issues in our life and made it out, and we all need each other. So like if you can understand that and recognize that and get out of your own way and not be intimidated to go and talk to whoever it is, bro, you can go a long way out here. Because people are just people, bro. Like nobody like, I mean, of course you're gonna find some people who might be an a-hole or you know what I mean, might not want to like, you know what I mean, talk at the time. And you know, they got the right to do that. But most of the time, if you come correct, people gonna come back correct.
Andre, what's good, fam? This is G, one half of the Black Business Clique. I've been rocking with you for a long time. I love the content. Similar to yourself, I'm a Naka big Naka supporter. We got our first property through Naka. We got a single family because I got hella kids. We was trying to get them but I know right now, I know when you're trying to sell the crib, right? You gotta the stipulations are you gotta pay off the loan entirely. Right. So are you still holding on to your Naka? Like what's the status of your Naka property now? Like how are you maneuvering it to get additional property?
I mean, yeah, so that's the whole point. Like I'm selling one of them. So the one that I had did with my girl, we finna sell it because the taxes had went crazy and it essentially knocked out cash flow. So at this point, it don't make sense. So what makes more sense is to sell the property, take the equity that the property has accrued, and go and scale our real estate business with all of the information that I have now and what I know now. It's like, all right, cool. I did all of the stuff I was doing, making $26,000 a year. Imagine what I'm going to do with $300,000 cash in my account. Like, you know what I'm saying? Me being around
Right.
all of the people that I'm around, me having the mentors that I have, Jamal King, Henry Washington, Will Biaselli, like these are my guys who, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who are
Right.
helping me and teaching me and walking me through the process. So, like, that's like major players who are doing way more than me in the space who gonna teach me how to take that 300K and turn it into, you know what I mean, 3 million.
So you sold the property. You got
No,
the
I'm in the process of selling it. I haven't sold it yet, but I'm in the process of selling it right now. But the thing
so
is, after a few years, bro, like you not
yeah.
under NAFTA no more. Like, you know what I mean? After I think like the 5th year, you from under that lien. You don't owe them nothing and you good to go.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you had. I thought you locked in until the entirety of the loan or it's paid
No,
off.
sir. No,
So,
sir.
so my question was going to be: once you sell that property, can you go back through the program again?
Yep.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because you
Yeah.
no longer have a NACA loan.
Right.
But for me, like I don't want to do that because I'm thinking scale. And in
Yeah.
order for me to scale, like
Can't
NACA
do it
is a
again.
very, very beginner entry level program. So it's like,
Right.
all right, cool. That was a great way for me to get started. But now it's time for me to go do the big boy stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
it's time for me to go heavy. It's time for me to get into the developing and, you know what I mean, fixing and flipping, those kind of things, buying and holding, like putting 20% down. At this point, I can go get a conventional loan for 5% down. Like, I'm not dealing with NACA no more. Not
Right.
that, you know what I mean, I'm speaking against it, but for me, it's no need for me to go through that program. Like I'm gonna leave a space for the people who actually need the program. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. I appreciate that, bro. Thank you.
For sure. Darnell, go ahead. You done had your hand up for a minute. You just ain't saying nothing.
All right, cool. Hey, what happening, Dre?
How you feeling?
So, doing pretty good. Can't complain. So, with the NACA program, and you can correct me on this, because you also pair in terms of your down payment with other down payment assistance programs, such as, say, you getting grants from the state that you're residing or you plan to purchase, and you can pair that with the NACA loan as well.
Yeah, you can. You can't combine programs, but you can definitely get grants in different state assistance to help you with your down payment. And even if you don't have a down payment, which NACA doesn't, you can still use that money to pay for your insurance, pay for your taxes, different things like that.
Okay, good.
I had another.
Go ahead, Arthur.
Um, so I know NAC is kind of like a program where it's kind of like for helping, like assisting, kind of.
It's a regular mortgage program. Don't think that it's not for poor people. It ain't for broke people. You ain't got to buy in the hood. None of that. I got people making $100,000 a year using the NACA program. So don't think that, bro.
Okay. Well, that's kind of leads me to my question. Would you be able to use NACA for like commercial real estate?
No, it's only up to 4 units. You can do mixed use. So, like, let's say you want to, you got to buy a property with a storefront and it got 3 units above it. You live in one, storefront downstairs, 2 units that you rent out to people who want to live there. You can do that, but you can only do up to 4 units. Anything over 4 units is considered commercial. So
Hmm.
you can do residential. That's it.
Okay. Wonder about that.
Yeah. But like I said, you can do a storefront if you want to. Like if you got a barber shop, a clothing line, maybe you want to like put your merch in. You want to have an event space or something like that. You can take advantage of the program like that. So that way you got a place to live, you run your business in that joint, and you rent out apartments. So you like almost got like multiple hustles from the same place.
Can you talk about like the speaking engagements and like your public speaking career, like interested in like how you do that, like what's it like, and like just some tips about public speaking.
So like I was telling you, bro, like I said, the things that you fail at, they're just gonna prepare you for the things you're gonna excel at. Like it's an easy kill for me now because I used to rap. And I ain't just used to like rap, like I used to like do shows and perform in front of thousands of people, like you know what I mean? So it kind of like make this easy because with me providing the information that I'm providing, it's not the same thing as me being an open and act for a big artist. These people don't know me. These people might not like me. They ain't never heard my song before, none of this. In this space, it's an easy kill because I know these people that are sitting in this audience are looking for this information to change their life. They waiting on me to tell them the easiest way to get started in real estate. They waiting on me to tell them the lowest cost of entry to get started in real estate. They waiting on me to tell them that their credit score don't matter for them to go buy property. That's like, what? Like, that's life-changing information for somebody. And that's why they came to this event specifically to see me and hear me. So it's a whole different thing from music. And it's like, oh man, I don't gotta have that fear or nervousness when I go out here because these people are here for this information. This is a financial literacy event. And regardless of the type of financial literacy it is, it can help somebody. When I was rapping, that wasn't a purpose or mission-based industry. That was just me performing, trying to make some money. Like, I wasn't rapping about nothing positive or nothing for real, for real. I didn't really have a real mission behind it. But at the end of the day, when I started speaking with mission and purpose, that's when, you know what I mean, you started to feel love. That's when things started to work in my favor. That's when people started to offer me money to come speak. Like, and it feels good to be able to go out and tell your story and a school give you $3,000 for the speaking, and then they buy another $2,000 in your merch because they like the mission and the message behind your merch. And this is something that you create. And now it's over 300 schools in Chicago public schools. So now I connected with one principal and they just told me, all right, cool. You know, you can go do this at all 300 of these schools and make $5,000 at each one of these schools every year because we bring in the same people every year because it's a new class and a new grade every year. So this is something that you can do every year for the rest of your life until you decide to not want to speak no more. And that's just in Chicago. I can travel around the country and do this at all of the different public schools and get paid this check because I'm not charging the kids. They got state money for people to come in and speak at assemblies and all of these different things. And this is the circle that you get in when you become a speaker. This is the information that you become privy to when you become a speaker. Like, oh, I don't gotta be Eric Thomas and them. I can go perform around my city at the public schools and get paid $3,000 to $5,000 to go talk for an hour. What? I can do that every day. It's over 300 and something schools. It's only 200 school days a year. I can go do that every day and check a bag. I can go do that multiple times a day because if I'm only speaking for an hour, the school day, 8 hours, I can do an assembly over here, go over here, do assembly, and do another assembly. I done just made $9,000 from speaking for 3 hours in a day at a school. Like, that's an amazing feeling to know that. But again, I wasn't privy to this information prior to this. I didn't know anything about these type of options. I just knew that I wanted to be a speaker. I wanted to help people, all of these things. And me having those desires and me speaking these things into the universe, me having righteous intentions, me wanting to do good for my community, the universe is going to always give you what you want when it's that. Always. It may not happen when you want it to, but it's going to happen. And when it happens, it's gonna happen on a scale of like, hold on, this is like too much. Like, this is abundance. I didn't think it was gonna be like that. Like Charles said, like, my growth has come rapidly. Like, it ain't been slow. Like, Doe been following me for a long time. This has been like, man, bro, like, you out going crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like that. Like, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for real, for real. And that's not me being arrogant or anything. That's just me being aware. Me seeing what's really going on. And I operate at a high level when I'm aware of these things and I pay attention to these things. And I don't take any of this stuff for granted. And I pray to God and I'm thankful to God and I'm grateful to God every day because there was a time I was waking up, y'all, where I didn't know what I was going to eat. There was a time where I had to get up at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning and leave out the house with the person that was leaving out the house because I was sleeping on their couch. Like, it was a time where I didn't know how I was going to take care of my kids. But now I wake up and I'm a money-making machine. Like, I'm making money in the stock market. I go out and speak, I'm making money. I'm making money with my cameras. I'm making money off my brand. I'm making money off my books. I'm making money off my courses. Like, my name just generates bread at this point. And it's not with a whole lot of effort. It's just with this, just my mind and my mindset. And all of us on this call are capable of doing all of this stuff. We just got to lock in. That's it. We just got to lock in. I've been locked in for a long time, y'all. Things that I thought that I was going to be doing 15 years from now, I've been doing that shit for the last 5 years because I locked in. And 2 years of sacrifice will expedite your process 10, 15, 20 years if you lock in. But it's about this. It's the mindset, man.
I got a couple questions for you, my brother. I don't want to like break them up because I'm gonna lose my train of thought. Right. So you said your growth was rapid. So in this growth period, what was your biggest like aha moment? Like, shit, I arrived. You feel me? And then what is, I guess, not your biggest goal, but what do you want to be known for? Right? Like, what's the legacy you want to leave behind?
I've never had a I feel like I've arrived moment, because I don't feel like I've arrived. I just feel like I'm, you know what I mean, constantly growing, and you know what I mean, just getting in the places where I want to get, because like it's always gonna be newer levels and greater levels. You know what I'm saying? And I realized that I was growing and doing the things that I was saying that I wanted to do, when the people who I said I was going to be around, and the interviews that I said I was going to get, and the relationships that I said I was going to have, started coming to fruition. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to think, like, I was just on the internet following Charles. I was on the internet following EYL. I was just a subscriber to, you know what I mean, the information. You know what I mean? Then I was sitting in the crowd. Then I started building relationships. Then I started telling my story. Then I started getting on the interviews. Then I started getting on the stage. Like, it's been a progression, but like, and I say rapid because, and on the internet it's been that. But man, I've been doing this since 2010. Like, I've been reading and learning and educating myself since 2010. So this is now just like the almost like the fruits of my labor. You know what I mean? Like, I got a saying that I always say, like, you don't eat the fruit the same day you plant the seed. So like, I planted these seeds in 2010, 2015, 2016, and now in 2023, you seeing, you know what I mean, the tree with the fruit and the beautiful leaves and all of that. But man, it ain't been easy, you know what I mean? But from the time that y'all done seen me on the internet until now, that growth has been rapid because of the work that I was putting in way before that, because I learned from reading books to market myself, to put out content, whether I'm getting 1, 2, or 3 likes, to keep on pressing my message, to always be myself, never try to be nobody else, focus on authenticity, lock in with knowing who your audience is and who you're speaking to, and be intentional about speaking to those people and consistently speaking to those people. Don't switch up when you see somebody else winning over here and you not winning yet, and now you chasing what they doing. Like, all of these things have helped me and been like gas and fuel to the fire that, you know what I mean, has progressed and, you know what I mean, kind of like shot me to the level that I'm at. And like I said, man, I ain't even there yet. I'm thinking like, you know what I mean, the biggest speaker in the world type shit, like Eric Thomas type shit. Like, I'm trying to go out here and like speak to universities and, you know what I mean, speak at the halftime of basketball games. I'm talking like keynotes to get paid $200,000, $300,000. Eric Thomas out here making 400, a $500,000 to talk for an hour, my boy. Like, that's the level that I'm talking about. And I already know that I got the energy, I got the passion, I got the drive, I got the wit, the wisdom, and the favor of God to do so. I just got to keep on getting around the right people, polishing up my skills, learning, you know what I mean, mentors, all of these different things that all of us on this call are doing. I just got to keep doing that, and I know I'm going to get there. What y'all seeing now and what I'm doing now is just a small piece of where I'm going in the direction that I'm headed in, because 5 years ago, I said I was going to be doing all of the stuff that I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So I already know what I'm going to be doing in the next 5, 10, 15 years, because my mindset has grown and been exposed to so much. It's like, oh, baby, we thinking way bigger. We thinking way better. We thinking way more at this point.
I love that.
Go
I
ahead,
appreciate.
Roy. Yep.
Yeah, he's speaking fire, Dre. I appreciate it. I want to know your top 5 favorite books.
Ooh, top 5 favorite books: Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins, The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra, and probably Crush It by Gary Vee, because that's what gave me my confidence and just like it gave me my drive, and everything that I do on the internet. That's like where I got that from, like Gary Vee in that book Crush It, and the follow-up Crushing It, and just like following and listening to Gary Vee. just not getting discouraged, man, and just putting out my content, just constantly like, you know what I mean, showing my personality and being the person that I am. And eventually, you know, like the stuff that you read, like you find out like, yo, this shit really works. Like it don't work fast, but it worked. And I think that'd be the problem. Like people be wanting to work fast, like, all right, cool. I just read the book. Let me see if the money in my account. It's like, no, you got to go out and do what the book say. like you can't just read and then think the money gonna magically appear. So I've seen that, man, the more that I go out and do what these books tell me to do, like the results come in. Like Money Master the Game told me to invest my money in mutual funds, Vanguard this, Vanguard that. I put that money in there. 3 years later, that 18,000 had turned into 30. Like, look at God. Like,
He literally,
you know what I'm
in
saying?
that book, he literally gives exactly how to not lose in the market. Like Ray Dalio, exact fucking how he
Bruh,
allocates
yeah,
his money, and people
yeah.
don't read that shit.
Yeah, bro. And that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's what kind of like catapulted me to get to where I am, to understand how to trade options. A lot of people don't even understand just the regular stock market. And you trying to trade options, like you're an idiot. Like, what are you doing? Like, you got to understand the basics first. And that book taught me the basics. So when I took Charles' course on how to take options, it was like, oh, let's get it. Because these are essentially the same principles that I read over here, just at a much faster pace. Like that's it. More chart reading, understanding the movement of stuff way more instead of all right, cool. I'm gonna buy at this price and buy at that price. Like, bro, like I was just like, yo, this crazy. But again, man, information, exposure. Once you're exposed to it, you no longer have an excuse, like at all.
So we're coming up on time. But if you guys still have questions, go ahead and fire them off. Rapid fire.
I know, like, we on and like what project and like if we can help in any way, like how can we, tap in with you?
Currently I'm just trying to sell this property and preparing for 2024, kind of recalibrating my websites and just like my courses and all of that kind of stuff. Man, you could just support by, keep showing love. Like when I post stuff, about, like stuff that I got going on, sharing it. And just little simple stuff like that, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't ask for a lot, man. I'm a real cool, chill, laid back guy, man. I just appreciate y'all having me on today, allowing me to, share some information and share my story with y'all. And yeah, man, let's keep on building, bro.
You got to talk about the power of content, but not just the content, the content that you create where you just have somebody following you and capturing that. Because I don't think a lot of people appreciate just the real life content that you're creating, where I've been to events, you have somebody just following you around with a camera, you're mic'd up, talking to people. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, man. Everything is content. Again, I learned that from Gary Vee. So like once I, kind of figured out how to cut the cost of me creating my content, because I would create content where like I would hire somebody and they would charge me hourly or whatever the case may be. It's like, man, like what if I want to create all day? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I started asking questions as I'm paying these guys, like I'm getting information from them, like, man, what kind of camera is that? How much that cost? What kind of lens is that? What I need to do this? If I want to shoot that kind of video, what should I do? And now I'm not only paying these guys to shoot my videos, but I'm learning from them. You know what I mean? So, and when I learned this information, I went out and I actually spent the money to buy the stuff that they were telling me about. And then during the pandemic, I learned a lot of stuff on YouTube about how to record, how to do photos, and like all of these different things. And I'm like, all right, cool. All I got to do is get all of the equipment, get a tripod, and stand in front of the camera and talk, or give the camera to one of my kids, my girl, one of my homies, etc. Have the settings, and all you got to do is aim and shoot. And now at this point, with me being a legit business, me having to brand all of these things, I can go get interns from colleges and different things like, hey man, I can give you credits or whatever the case may be, and I can put you in this cool environment. You want to go see P. Diddy talk? You want to go see Jada Cheese? You want to go see Ari? You want to go see all these dope people for the free? Come on, come with me. Like that's a no-brainer for a kid who trying to get in this environment, who trying to, get started. And you know, that kind of stuff, like it made it easy for me to create owning my own equipment and then being able to just like have people point and shoot for me and not being scared of what environment I'm in with my camera, any of that kind of stuff. Because again, everything is content. Whether I'm doing a slow motion video showing my brand, that it match with my mics, or I'm walking up to Troy and Rashad and Shine, shaking their hand, just being myself, saying, "What up, what up, what up, what up?" It's all content and people want to see it. People want to know what's going on with you in your life 24 hours a day, especially if they're following you and you're trying to become a brand. It's like the same thing like with people who you like and people who you follow. Like you want to know everything that's going on with Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. Like you reading articles about these guys, you watching interviews, and it's the same thing with people who want to be like you. So you have to provide them with this content, this information, this lifestyle, because at the end of the day, you're essentially a new role model for this person. You're the person who they're trying to be like. So if you're not continually setting the example, then you're going to lose a follower, you're going to lose a customer, you're going to potentially lose a student, somebody who's a potential business partner for you, any of these things, because you're not creating content and you slacking or you deciding that you ain't going to do it because it's uncomfortable, etc. Man, you got to get out your own way. Content is just the thing now. It's like almost like having your own TV show or your own network on YouTube. For me, it's even deeper than that, because at the end of the day, when I'm gone and my grandkids or my great grandkids ask about their granddaddy or how we got here, or mom who owned this business or how you get this building or whatever the case may be, they're going to be able to go back and watch their grandfather or their great grandfather on YouTube do all of these cool things. Like, oh man, this is my great granddaddy was. He spoke at the event with P. Diddy and Robert F. Smith and Jeezy. Oh, like that's he on the wall with Rich Paul and Maverick Carter, and that's who granddaddy is. Like that's legacy stuff. So it's like you have to like build out your legacy and be able to tell your story. And if you ain't gonna go make a Netflix movie, how's people gonna find you and how are people gonna know who you are? You know what I'm saying? That's the value and the importance of content. And it's not just about trying to sell stuff to people or put stuff out there. Because most of my content, I'm not selling anything. I'm showing lifestyle, I'm teaching, and I'm educating people and entertaining people. Like that's it. Like that's what people want to see. And the more that you can do this and do this consistently, people will lock in and latch on to what it is that you got going on, because again, they want to be just like you. They want to have people watching them. They want to be able to dress cool in their own merch and in their brand. And they want to be able to sit at home and trade in the stock market while not having to go to work or any of these different things. Like I'm telling y'all, man, it's amazing, amazing what content can do for you. And honestly, content is what got me out here. Me doing these interviews, the clips from the interviews going viral, people from other platforms seeing the clips go viral, and they're like, "Hey, I want to interview because I seen you on this show, or I seen one of your clips go viral. I heard you talking about this over there." Like content is what's going to do that for you. You can't go viral if you're not creating content.
That's a bar right there. You can't go viral if you're not creating content. This is top 2 mastermind calls we've ever had, man. You blazed it. The story was fire. The gems are fire. The passion was fire. So we definitely appreciate you, man. If you guys aren't already following him, make sure you follow him. If you are following him, make sure you share some of his content, share some things he has going on. And if you feel like you could add some value, shoot your shot, man. We got some realtors on here. We have some people who, could potentially add some mutual value. So like Andre said, don't be afraid to reach out, put yourself out there. One of the things I liked is he said he walked up to D Wade and told him what he does. A lot of people are going to walk up to D Wade and talk to D Wade about what D Wade did. And that was probably one of the biggest gems I took from this. I'm definitely going to chop it up, turn it into some micro clips, get it onto the Tide Capital page. And man, I should appreciate you for dropping in on this. I know everybody here got value. I know everybody here is going to continue to execute on what they have going on just based off what we learned today.
Please
so I appreciate
do. Man, gratitude, y'all. Appreciate y'all for having me. Charles, you already know you my brother, man. Whenever you need me.
Drop those books in the Facebook if you can.
Hey, we out.
We out.
All right,
All right,